I watched that 4-part story and did a lot of digging so you guys don't have to. Now, this story surrounds this influencer named Ashley Barnes. She has about 2.5 million followers. She's a mental health influencer that also does like get ready with me videos and like, typical like teenager, young adolescent kind of videos. Now, the video that you guys just recently tagged me in, this one right here, this girl right here is Melina. That's her ex-best friend. And then this girl right here is her ex-girlfriend, Savannah. Now, Savannah and Melina have known each other since they were in 2nd grade. They met actually around 8th grade. The other characters in the story are Brad, Capri, Lucy, Echo. Now, this story happens over a long period of time, right? So it's going to be bouncing around a lot, but try to keep up with me. So in the story that you guys tagged me in with Melina and Savannah, they go over like how they became friends, and then ultimately they go over how their relationships with Ashley kind of came to an end. Now, it's because of Brad sharing his story that Melina and Savannah felt comfortable to share theirs as well, because before that, they felt like their lives were threatened. They felt like she had a lot of control over their lives, and that speaking out against her, especially on a public forum, was going to be, something they weren't going to be able to do, especially because Ashley is the reason that both Melina and Savannah have their platforms. Once Brad posted this story, and we'll get into it, that is when he reached out to Melina and they started confiding in each other and sharing each other's experience and being like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Like, there's other people that actually have been experiencing this horrible side of Ashley Barnes. Both Savannah and Melina said that Ashley would threaten them and say like, hey, this is actually how it would feel if I like actually unalived somebody. She would tell them in detail. They were honestly in fear of their lives. Ashley was very jealous of their relationship. Even though Melina and Savannah have known each other since 2nd grade, she did not allow them to hang out because Savannah and Ashley were dating at the time, and she would try to pin Melina and Savannah against each other and be like, oh, you guys are like hooking up, da 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 da. While Ashley is dating Savannah, she's expressing to Melina on several occasions that she's in love with her, but she can't be in love with her because she has a girlfriend, and just all these different things. And so obviously it made Melina feel uncomfortable. Melina's like, girl, I have a girlfriend. Like, I have no intentions of being with you. I never wanted to be with you when I first met you. Yeah, I thought you were cute, but that was it. Melina tells us how last year when they went viral together, Ashley took Melina to a field. I guess she goes there very often, and she basically expressed her love to her. She was on vocal rest, so she couldn't like actually say it. She like whispered like, I love you, but I can't be with you. And this whole time Melina's like, girl, like, we're just getting to know each other like on this type of level. Like, I don't understand like why you're making me, have to deal with this. Like, this is a lot for someone. Melina also found out that Ashley was going around and telling people that she and Brad were like endgame, that's who she wanted to end up eventually marrying. And she thought that was really messed up. She really didn't like how she mistreated Savannah. She would even lay on Melina's chest when they would hang out and stuff, and she would tell her like, I don't think this is appropriate. You shouldn't be laying on my chest. And Ashley would tell her like, no, it's fine. Like, this is what friends do. And Melina's like, I guess I do see my straight friends doing that, so I guess it's fine. But at the same time, she's like, I'm kind of feeling uncomfortable. Melina also details this time that Ashley and her went to one of Ashley's sister's recitals, and she was watching her on stage, and the entire time Ashley was doing things to make Melina feel uncomfortable, like grabbing her hand while they had a blanket over them because they were cold. And she actually went through Melina's phone during that time. Ashley took her phone, put her name into the text box, and tried to find any conversation where Melina was talking about Ashley, and that's actually how she found out that Melina had feelings for her at some point. And so she was just like feeling uncomfortable the entire time. She was just like straight looking at the stage. Ashley's trying to make eye contact with her. At the end, Ashley asked her like, was I making you nervous? Like, why weren't you looking at me? And Melina's thinking like, yeah, you made me nervous, but not in like a butterfly cute way, but like in a I want to leave this place right now way. Melina also said that Ashley told her on several occasions that she wanted to break up with Savannah and be with her. Instead of being like straight up and direct and being like, hey, I like you, she would give her and Melina fake names and be like, oh, you're Melanie, I'm Abby. And she would be like, oh, Abby likes Melanie, da da da. At the same time, Ashley would go back to Savannah and tell her like, yeah, Abby and Melanie, like, da da da, they like each other. The whole time Savannah's like, who's Abby and Melanie? Like, are they your friends? Da da da. She had no idea. The whole time Ashley was just telling her like, yeah, I like Melina. After that, both Melina and Savannah are telling us about a time where they went to their friend Echo's show, and afterwards Ashley was like, let's leave. And Melina's telling her like, I'm tired, I just want to go home. And she's like, no, let's go to Wendy's. Like, I'll take you home afterwards. So then they agree, they all get into the car. And then after going to Wendy's, they're all sitting in front of Ashley's house. Again, Savannah and Melina are really good friends. They're joking. And Melina said something to Savannah of the effects of like, bro, stop joking around or I'm going to kiss you. And Ashley turns around and she's like, do it. And they're like, no, dude, we're joking. Like, da-da-da. Ashley starts pressuring them, like, kiss, kiss, kiss. She even starts to offer money. She's like, I'll give you $200, right? So after 10 minutes of, like, resistance, they finally kiss. Savannah and Melina do. And the whole time Melina's feeling bad. Like, I have a girlfriend. I love her. Like, I would never do this to her. But, like, I'm feeling really pressured and I'm trapped in this car. I have nowhere to go. And so then, again, Ashley's like, I want you to do it again, but I want to sit in the middle, right? So she come to the back seat where they were at. And she's like, do it again. again pressuring them, offers more money, and they reluctantly agree and they kiss again. Ashley's like, I'll give you $250 if you kiss her right now. So then at this point, she's like, wow, you're offering me $550 for kissing your girlfriend twice. So she kisses her again. At the same time, though, Melina's feeling very like taken advantage of. Like, why would a friend make me do something like this? Then Ashley proposes a three-way kiss, and she's like, I'll give you another $200. So now we're at like $750 for kisses. And she's like, if Savannah gets to kiss you, I want to kiss you too. The whole time Savannah knows she can't say anything because at the end of the day, Ashley's going to do whatever she wants. So before Melina can say no to the third offer, Ashley grabs her by the face, pulls her in, and she kisses her for like 3 to 5 seconds, which was obviously odd to them because when Savannah and Melina were kissing, they were just doing like quick little pecks. Melina said the entire time she was just feeling really bad because she was like, wow, I would never actually do this to my girlfriend. The final part of Melina and Savannah's story is them telling us about how they came to LA for a second time for a glow house party. They go to Ashley's house to meet up to go to the airport, and they get there and Ashley's not packed at all. Her house is a mess. Clothes are everywhere and they're trying to help her pack up and she's yelling at them. She's like, no, go away. Like, I'll do this, da, da, da. They finally get into the Uber and she's yelling at the Uber. Uber driver's trying to be like chill, and the whole time Ashley's just berating him, telling him to go faster, but there's 2 accidents. There's nothing he can do, right? So then Ashley calls her dad and she's like, Dad, just buy me new tickets. Like, they don't have to go. They can stay. They can stay. Whole time Melina and Savannah are sitting there like, we bought our own tickets. I don't understand what you're even talking about right now. Ashley's like, this is my trip. Like, I have to go, Dad. I have to go, Dad. And they're looking at her like, this isn't your trip. This is like for all of us. And then Ashley really loses it when her dad tells her like, hey, your dress won't be there until the day before the party. She's like having an anxiety attack. She's like wild. She's like, no, what do you mean? What do you mean? And the whole time Savannah, her girlfriend, is trying to calm her down and be like, hey girl, it's fine. Like, we'll figure it out. And she's not listening. But the minute Melina told her like, hey, like, it's just a dress. We'll figure it out. Our bags are going to be there tomorrow. She immediately calmed down. So they finally get to the airport, and apparently Ashley has a complete meltdown while trying to check her bags in. She's making an entire scene, and the entire time Melina and Savannah are standing there so embarrassed. So they finally get to where they're staying in LA, and they go upstairs to like chill at the pool and make TikToks, you know, have a nice time. Ashley proposes that they do rage bait content, and that Melina tries to get with Ashley, and that Echo, this other girl who's a part of this whole like situation, Ashley basically says like, Savannah, you go flirt with Echo and I'm gonna flirt with Melina and we should make rage bait content. And everybody's looking at her like, no, we don't want to do that, we're uncomfortable. Echo's like, I'm not comfortable posting, you know, on social media in a bikini. And again, Melina's like, my girlfriend, like, that's not appropriate to her. But Ashley didn't care. She kept insisting. She basically used leverage and was like, hey, I'm the one paying for this Airbnb, like, you guys have to basically do what I say. So eventually Savannah and Echo end up kissing, and then Ashley's like, oh, I didn't see, you guys have to do it again. So they do that, and then Ashley's like, actually, Melina, I want you to kiss Savannah again. And then Savannah and Melina are looking at each other like, we really don't want to do this, but again, they're feeling threatened, they're feeling trapped, and they agreed. Melina basically said, you can't trust who Ashley is. Like, she's never honest with people. She's very manipulative. This is just who she is as a person. And like, to know her would be really hard because she's probably lying to you. So after the glow house party, they end up going to Capri's house, and they do that a few nights after that, and everything's normal. But one of those nights, Ashley ends up not coming back home with them. That night, apparently Ashley stayed with someone named Evan. He has allegations of him sexually assaulting a 7-year-old kid and asking for head. And basically they were like, I don't know why she would ever hang out with somebody like that. He's apparently like Capri's and Piper's assistant or something along those lines. And he was just like around, and it was Brad, Capri, the assistant, and Ashley all hanging out together. They thought it was weird, but they said whatever. So the next night, they all decided to go to Capri's house with her. Both noticed that Ashley kept disappearing into rooms upstairs that they weren't allowed to go into, and they had no idea what was happening upstairs, but they were just like, what's going on? Like, this isn't even a party. This is just a bunch of people hanging out. Why does she keep disappearing into these random rooms? I guess the following night, Ashley goes back to Capri's house. I guess Capri had mentioned that he liked leopard print, so she returned back to his house with a leopard print bra, and I guess was really trying to like seduce him essentially. So the next day, they're hanging out at Ashley's uncle's house with her cousin. They're telling Ashley like, hey, don't go back to Capri's house today. Like, there's no point. Like, just chill, right? She's just telling him like, this is my trip. I can do whatever I want, blah, blah, blah. So they're all in the room and they're eating Mexican food. And Ashley tells them like, hey, I'm having a really hard day. I'm going to go downstairs really quickly and grab some ice cream. So she goes downstairs, and then Savannah gets a text message from Ashley being like, hey, I actually left. I'm going to go to Capri's. I love you. Goodbye. And then they hear the door slam behind her. Melina runs downstairs and she sees Ashley hop into an Uber and leave. And they don't know exactly where she went, but they're pretty sure she went to Capri's house. The rest of the night, they spent time texting her, making sure she came home safely, all of that. But at the end of the night, they did say it was actually their favorite night in LA together, and it was really peaceful. Both Melina and Savannah noted that when Ashley came home that night, she came home with a black scent, and they were like, where did you get that? Like, you don't even talk like that. And she's like, oh, this is how I be talking when I be around like guys, da 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 da. And they're like, that's not even like who you are. Like, why are you talking like that? And they were like, you're only with them for like 3 hours. Like, what's wrong with you? When Ashley went to the room to sleep with Savannah, Savannah got up, grabbed her blanket and her pillow, and Ashley's like, where are you going? She's like, I'm gonna go, sleep somewhere else. And so she ends up sleeping at the beach for 2 hours. When they wake up the next morning, tensions are high in the Airbnb, and like every time somebody interacts with Ashley, it ends up being like this huge fight. And Ashley just continues to be disrespectful to everyone. Melina feels like the reason why Ashley treats Savannah so poorly is because she pays for everything, and she feels like she can hold that over her. But at the end of the day, Savannah does all the manual labor, and Ashley does pay her for it, but Savannah never asks her to pay. Melina pointed out that basically Ashley has a lot of sides, one of them being a very jealous side as well. Apparently, when they left LA, Ashley ended up texting Echo and being like, hey, it really bothered me that you were getting recognized in LA more than I was. And so ultimately, when Ashley and Savannah broke up, Melina was stuck in the middle, and she wanted to be friends with both, but at the end of the day, Ashley was not having it. She was feeding Melina lies and being like, oh, Savannah is a sexual assaulter, she's a domestic violence abuser. She's like spreading all these lies while Savannah's not doing any of that. And so what ended up happening was that Melina and Savannah ended up running into each other while they were both shopping, and they both decided like, let's hang out, like we've been friends forever, like what's the difference? The whole time they weren't really even talking about the breakup. Savannah didn't even really say that they officially like completely called things off. They were just hanging out as friends. Melina ends up getting a text message from Ashley being like, oh my god, I can't believe you were hanging out with Savannah, like you're such a bad friend. Melina tells us at the time Ashley was illegally taking Accutane and Adderall at the same time, and she was excessively drinking as well. Melina goes on to tell us that she really hasn't seen Ashley sober in a really long time. When Ashley finally left for UCLA, she didn't talk to her for a while, and she kind of stayed away from her because she truly believes that she needs help and that she needs to fix her behavior before something bad happens. When Melina would try to tell Ashley these things and be like, hey girl, like I really feel bad that you're not like, taking care of yourself and you're not putting yourself first, she would just blame all of her like drug use and all of that on the breakup and be like, it's Savannah's fault, when in reality, like she really needed to get her life together. Melina said that the day before Ashley left for UCLA, they hung out together, and she had a Stanley full of liquor and she was drunk off her ass. So just recently, Melina was supposed to go visit Ashley at UCLA and stay with her for 3 of those days that she was out here. Because Brad and Capri ended up posting their story times, everything kind of fell through and she was not able to stay with her, and she was like, damn, I'm stranded. And it was 2 other girls that she knew here that allowed her to stay with them. Melina was also specifically out here for another influencer's party. He had hit 1 million followers, I guess. He was throwing a party, and she ended up finding out that Ashley, who was supposed to be in rehab, was only there for a few days, and her dad ended up like, her dad has connection, is the head of AA, or like spoke to the head of the AA and was able to get Ashley out of rehab so she can fly to LA for this party. Both Savannah and Melina agree that Ashley's dad enables her and he very much uses her for money, and that if there's a dollar sign behind an activity or something or a collab, like he's going to be all for it. He chases the dollar. He doesn't really essentially care for his daughter. That effectively makes it so that Ashley doesn't have a genuine support system, and even when these girls tried to be her support system, they were alienated, isolated, and basically threatened. When Melina saw Ashley at Paul's party, Ashley came up to her and was like, hey girl, I just want you to know I'm actually going to be drinking. But at the end of the day, the actual problem was like methamphetamines. It wasn't drinking. Melina's looking at her like, no girl, like you need to take care of your body. You need to heal. Like you don't need to do any of these things. And Ashley was just telling her like, no, it's fine. At this point at Paul's party, Melina had no idea about everything that was happening with Brad and Capri. She said she would never taken the time to speak to Ashley at this party and like pour her heart to her and basically scream at her and be like, hey, I want you to do better. Like you're losing friends. You're hurting yourself, like you're ruining your body. Like she would never taken the time to like say all these things to her. So after they have this heart-to-heart conversation, they end up going to an after party, and that's when she overhears Ashley run up to someone and be like, oh my god, I'm so drunk, I had 3 shots. And when Ashley turned around and saw Melina standing there, oh fudge, but she said the actual word, and she runs up to Melina. She's like, no, I'm so sorry. She's trying to grab on Melina. Melina's like, no, it's fine, like you obviously don't care about the conversation we had. It meant nothing to you. Like you're gonna continue doing what you're doing. Live your life. Later on, Ashley ends up walking up to Melina and being like, hey girl, you made me feel really bad, so I'm drinking like liquid IV and vitamins, and I'm trying to like sober up. And she's like, I don't care what you do anymore, that's on you. I tried to help you. I'm not sure if this was at the same party, but Melina did say that this other girl, Lucy, also made her feel uncomfortable, and she was touching her and hugging her in ways where she was like, hey, this is a boundary. I have a girlfriend. Please don't touch me. Lucy did not care. She kept pursuing her. She even asked other people to put her on with Melina, and the entire time Melina's like, please leave me alone. So when Lucy touched her, that was the final straw, and she looked at this other girl named Gianna and was like, please, let's leave. Mind you, I have no idea who these other girls are. Ultimately, Savannah, her ex-girlfriend, and Melina, her best friend, just wanted to come out and basically say like, hey, the way that this girl treats others and threatens others is not okay. The way she uses control and her money to make people do things that they don't want to do is not okay. And it aligns with the other stories that both Brad and Capri has said. Other people like Echo, along with Lucy, have also come out with their sides of their stories as well. Now, at this point, this is a 4-part story that you guys wanted me to cover. So at this point, this is the end of this TikTok. If you want to hear the breakdown of Capri, Brad, Lucy, Echo, this video is going to continue, but it's going to continue on YouTube. I really appreciate when you guys support me over there. I wanted to put it in a way where you guys got what you wanted on TikTok, but if you wanted more, there's more content. So I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for coming over here. Let's get right back into it. So these other characters right here, Brad, Capri, Lucy, and Echo, all also came out with their sides of the story, right? This all is kind of happening simultaneously, but all of them are kind of going over 2 specific dates. One of the dates is July 6th, the day where they all were in a hotel room that Ashley got for everybody, and then this other day where they were at like a pool all hanging out together, right? So let's go over what Brad and Capri said, because it's about the same day. July 6th, the day before Paul's 1 million party, and they all were in a hotel room together. So it's Ashley, her roommate, Brad, Capri, and this other girl. This other girl ends up leaving and going on a solo mission. At first, Capri wasn't there yet. He was with Piper. He ends up getting a text message from Ashley being like, hey, come over, come hang out. He's like, sure, no problem. He didn't think much of it, but he did get a gut feeling, he said in his video, that, you know, something was off. So he arrives at the hotel immediately. Ashley's like, here's drinks, here's substances, take. And she's pressuring everybody. And everyone in their own individual stories collectively said they felt uncomfortable. They did not want to drink. But because she kept insisting, she finally got them all to agree, right? Brad was the only one that didn't agree to have a drink, but he was given an edible by Ashley, which he thought was an edible, but ended up being something much worse. Nobody really goes into what that is. If you guys know in the comments, drop it down there for us. So while everybody's chilling, Ashley is all of a sudden taking everybody one by one into the bathroom and talking to them one-on-one, right? When she eventually takes Brad into the bathroom, he says in his part that he basically was told by Ashley that Capri's relationship with Piper, which is another big influencer, is fake. It's all for clout. They're not even in a real relationship, right? And that she wants to do a 2-man. Now, somebody drop in the comments what a 2-man is. I have an idea what it is. I don't know if it's the real thing, but y'all tell me what it's. She wanted to run a 2-man. That's what she said. So while Ashley took the other girl to the bathroom for her one-on-one talk, Brad and Capri were able to talk. And that's when Brad told Capri, hey, Ashley's over there saying that your relationship with Piper isn't real. And Capri's so confused because he's like, I love my girlfriend. What is she talking about? Both Brad and Capri said that at this point, Ashley goes into the bathroom. She changes into a much raunchier outfit. I guess she was in long sleeves and a sweatpants. She got into a crop top and shorts. And she went into the drawer and she pulled out like an arousal spray, like a pheromone spray. And she starts spraying it everywhere, and everyone's confused, like, what is she spraying? And Brad looks at them and she's like, she's spraying pheromones, right? And then she grabs gummies out of that same drawer and she shoves it into her roommate's face, and then she tries to shove it into Brad's face, and it's unclear if he took a whole bite, a bit of a bite, but he definitely took some of the gummy. And the gummies were also like stuff that's supposed to get you in the mood, right? So when Brad was refusing to take the gummy, Ashley looks at him and she's like, dude, take some. So Capri takes some. You know, I'm trying to get with him. So then she turns to Capri and she tries to give Capri one, and Capri's like, no, I'm good, right? He eventually takes it out of her hand, and he said in his version of the story that he just threw it over the back and nobody knew that he didn't take one. So then Ashley suggests that everybody should play truth or dare, right? But then when she noticed that everybody kept saying truth, she's like, fine, we're playing dare or drink. So then Brad and Capri basically dare Ashley. They're like, hey, kiss your roommate, right? But they were joking. They didn't think she was really going to do it. She ends up looking at her roommate, grabbing her by the face and kissing her, right? And so they're all like, oh my God, we were totally joking. At this point, her roommate is clearly uncomfortable. She backs up and Ashley goes and grabs her again and kisses her again. She ends up going to the bathroom, and this is when Brad and the roommate are like, oh my God, I think she's going to rape us. We need to like get out of here. When Ashley came back, apparently she tried to force herself on Capri, and she's looking at Capri like, what's wrong with you? And he's telling her like, girl, I told you I love my girlfriend, like, get off of me, right? I guess her whole plan was trying to get with Capri. And in the later parts of Capri's story time, he details that at some point Ashley told someone that the reason why she was trying to get with Capri was because she wanted to find a way to get on their streams and get on their YouTubes, because they have a lot of, you know, clout and they have some motion right now, and she wanted to, you know, get in on whatever they had going on. And she felt like she could basically blackmail Capri, go to Piper and cause some type of drama and get, you know, her followers up. She was trying to make her way up in this whole influencer streamer world. At this point, while Ashley's trying to do whatever with Capri, her roommate feels so uncomfortable. She grabs her bag, she runs out, she calls an Uber, and she leaves. Ashley ends up telling Capri, like, I think you're gonna have to sleep over because you're way too drunk, right? And he's like, yeah, I think so too. But I guess at some point he ends up leaving, and now it's only Ashley and Brad left in the room. Now, Brad was already knocked out, and she's asking him, like, why don't you feel like that towards me anymore? Like, why don't you want to be with me? Am I too fat? And he's telling her, like, no, you're perfect, basically trying to de-escalate escalate the whole situation. And in Brad's story time, this is when he essentially tells us that Ashley gets into the bed with him and starts inappropriately touching herself. Eventually, Brad falls asleep, but he wakes up to messages of his friends asking him, like, hey, are you okay? Like, I think you need to leave. So he quickly starts packing up his bag. And when he packs up his bag, he ends up seeing that drawer that she kept pulling all of those like tricks and treats out of. And he notices that there was vibrators, there was lubes, there was handcuffs, and then surprisingly a Mormon Bible. Brad says in his story time, after he leaves, he ends up contacting Ashley's dad and being like, hey, he was doing this in the bed, basically explained everything to him. Ashley's dad was basically trying to justify everything and being like, oh, like she would never like mean that, like she's so sorry, like please don't tell people about this, basically trying to make sure that the money train kept going. Brad calls Ashley and he's telling her what she did to him last night, and she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like I'm addicted to Adderall and drugs, like I just wasn't in my right mind, basically using that as an excuse to justify her actions. It's interesting because Capri has like 6.7 million followers, but when he shared his story time about this whole thing, his entire TikTok got banned. He did get it back, but that didn't happen to any of the other people telling their stories. In Echo's video, she says that day that they were all at the pool, Ashley was also pressuring everybody to play Truth or Dare on that day, and she was asking people to take their clothes off, which was obviously making everyone feel uncomfortable. And like I said, she was also pressuring Echo to make content in a bikini, which she did not want to do. Echo also said she was pressured into kissing Savannah. On a later date, when Savannah and Echo were finally able to talk, they both admitted to each other it was very uncomfortable, and they both felt like taken advantage of. When Echo tells us that Ashley was trying to like spread rumors and basically say that Savannah and Echo were being together, and she even threatened them that she was going to post fake screenshots trying to ruin Echo, like quote unquote ruin Echo. Capri's story and Brad's story pretty much line up. When Brad was telling his story, he actually didn't mention Capri's name. It wasn't until Capri came out and told his own story and he was like, hey, you know, when Brad said there was another influencer there, yeah, that was me. And the only thing that Capri really added in his story time is saying that he was texting Piper the entire time, telling her what was going on and being like, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Lucy comes into the story because she was at that pool party as well that was happening when they were all there with Echo and everyone, and she said that her whole intention of being at that party was trying to climb this influencer ladder and be more, you know, in the mix of things. And so she was really trying to be cool with Ashley. Ashley and her went to the bathroom, and I guess they were trying to like, you know, adjust their positioning, and Ashley ended up grabbing Lucy in a really like inappropriate way that wasn't like very friendly. And then when they were on the dance floor, Lucy ends up telling Ashley like, hey, oh my god, I have a camel toe. And Ashley's like, oh, I can fix that for you. And Ashley goes to go grab her in that area, and you know, Lucy obviously pushes her away. But they're all basically sharing stories of like inappropriate and uncomfortable things that Ashley has tried to do to them, from playing with herself in front of them to trying to shove, you know, sexual gummies into people's mouths, into forcing people to drink, bribing people into doing sexual acts. You know, this is inappropriate behavior across the board, especially for somebody that has such a huge platform and advocates for mental health and sobriety. Melina in her story time told us that, you know, Ashley was making a video recently saying, oh, I'm 1 week sober, but in reality she was like 2 or 3 days sober. Capri, in the most latest video that he posted, said that at some point Ashley had said like, drink more so you guys can forget about your boyfriends and girlfriends. Like, she was really trying to get people under the influence and have them do, you know, illicit acts. I just think this girl Ashley probably needs some time off camera, off, you know, social media, just taking care of herself and her mental health, and just making sure she has all the tools that she needs and the right people in her corner to be able to succeed in life. Because to be young and to be so, you know, known and rich, it is hard. Like, it's very difficult. We've seen a lot of our favorite, you know, childhood stars not have the best adult life. So I hope that she's able to, you know, get a grasp of this early and address both her, you know, drinking and the substance use and all of that other stuff, the manipulative behavior and all of that. Either way, you guys tagged me in this a bunch. I wanted to make sure I got it out to you guys. I appreciate you guys as always. Bye.